Well, the Statue of Liberty bears the inscription, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free," promoting the American ideals of freedom and democracy and providing a place of refuge for immigrants who share those beliefs. But has America, the melting pot, finally boiled over? Is word out that our streets are paved with taxpayer-funded social services instead of gold? And is that why millions of immigrants are now using loopholes in asylum laws to enter the U.S. under this administration? 10.5 million people have come across the border and 2 million have escaped. Many, when they're here, are being funded by taxpayers. This migrant is telling people our borders are open for everyone, and singing about how he doesn't like to work because of allergies and taunting America, saying, "I live off taxes you pay monthly." This man says he's been living in a hotel in New York for 2 months, receiving 3 meals a day, is having Medicaid processed, was given lawyers to help with his asylum application, and even got plane tickets for him and his family to fly to Phoenix from New York, all free of charge to him. These 2 men have been staying in a hotel for 2 months and just received a 2-month extension, 3 meals a day included. At least they were polite enough to thank President Biden for his support, but they should be thanking you and every single U.S. citizen instead. A recent estimate reveals the U.S. is spending up to $451 billion a year on migrants. That is almost equal to the 2023 federal budget set aside for homeless and low-income Americans, $522 billion. Now, tonight, we're asking, should our great nation continue to be a shelter for the rest of the world when so many American citizens are suffering? Are we a superpower or are we a sucker? Now, my first guest is a Russian immigrant who says she didn't receive any handouts from the government and had to wait 10 years to gain legal status.
When I was 17 years old, I arrived in New York City as a tourist and then enrolled into school to learn English. And that's how I was able to adjust my status into student, which remained until I got married and received legal status of a green card through my husband. I was able to apply for a tax ID number, which allowed me to pay taxes and receive checks from companies. Although I was paying taxes, I never applied for any tuition assistance. I never applied for the loans. I was just working during the day and going to school at night and paying for each semester with my own money. The reason I didn't apply for any kind of financial aid is because I didn't feel I deserved it. I felt like I needed to contribute first before I could take anything out. When we first arrived, we had roommate girls. It was kind of a dorm, but we were all paying our rent. We were all working, cooking together. And at night, we would walk the streets to see if we can get a new couch from the garbage sites because all our furniture was from the sidewalks. And that was exciting because it's like, you never see that outside of America where you could find a working TV, bring it home. Everybody goes through a journey to become a citizen in America, and I'm very thankful for mine because it took a very long time, and it taught me a lot of things, and it taught me patience, gratitude, and it made me very patriotic for this country.
Well, Irina, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
You say you have sympathy for immigrants, and you say the system is a whole lot different today than when you came through it. How so?
First of all, in order to receive just visa entry into America, I had to, being a minor, had to collect a lot of paperwork to show that I was fit to travel into America.
And you were on a student visa. You were 17.
I came in as a tourist, and then when I applied to school, they gave me visa support.
And it took 8 years to graduate because you were working.
Correct.
And do you work now?
Yes, full-time, 2 jobs.
Do you like being here?
Yes, very much.
Yeah, okay. And you said your mom paid a big security deposit to get an apartment and all of that, right?
No one trusted us,
Yeah.
obviously. We had no credit history. We had nothing to prove that we were a reliable tenant.
So you had to pay 4 times.
Yes.
And Irina says when she came to the U.S., she was just happy to be here and felt like she needed to earn her keep. And she says she's seen tons of scooters and mopeds outside of migrant shelters and wonders who's providing those.
This is the school building where my children attend private school. And that building behind me, that tall yellow building, is the shelter that opened up while we were on the spring break that serves 400 single male.
I have witnessed police cars there very often. I have myself been catcalled in inappropriate ways. I've seen 2 members of that shelter around the corner drinking beer and one of them vomiting on the sidewalk. Not to say they're all bad, but there takes few to make us feel worried about public safety. Some parents in our school already second-guessing whether their kids will be returning in September.
Where do you think all that's coming from?
I think it's some kind of a back market because I was trying actually to find if there's any organization in New York that's providing these mopeds and scooters. Mm-hmm. And they're creating very dangerous situation in many cases. I had been cut off while driving my kids to school.
Yeah. You say the city says there would be security guards on duty to watch out for the kids.
The city told us that there will be 10 security guards with a shift supervisor, which makes them 11. There would be 16 social workers and some maintenance workers. So full amount of staff would be about 30 to 40 people per shift, but only 10 security guards who are also not armed. They have a whistle maybe.
You know, I actually work with the NYPD some, and I was on patrol with them, and we were at the largest shelter there out in the Bronx. Oh. And the mopeds and scooters and stuff lined up outside that shelter. There were just long lines of them. And the shift supervisor we were with said he thought it was stolen for some reason. And they ran the plate, and instantly the guy jumped off of it and just took off running across the park. And sure enough, it was stolen. And this is how savvy they are. He said, if you see 2 people on a moped, bad sign.
Yes.
Because one is the driver and the other is the snatcher.
Yes.
Do you know that?
I could tell that somebody in my family was a witness of a crime happened to a coworker right in front of him as they were walking across the street. Yeah. Moped pulled in. I think they pushed him to the ground, grabbed his chain, and jumped on the moped and left.
Yeah.
It's very common. You hear this every day.
All right, next, a former congresswoman who says she immigrated to the U.S. legally, and we need to shut our borders now. Plus, a civil rights attorney who says we need to tear down the Statue of Liberty if we don't hear asylum seekers out in court. We'll be right back. Well, that's a great speech, but there's been 7 million people come across the border in the last 2 or 3 years, and that's more people population-wise than 36 states in America. So don't tell me that there's just a few people that are creating the problem.
Whoa.
What the hell are you talking about? Getting quality sleep can be a struggle. Beyond feeling tired, poor sleep affects focus at work, patience with loved ones, and leaves you constantly drained. Finding a solution is key. That's where Beam's Dream Powder comes in. This healthy hot cocoa has completely transformed sleep for many. With flavors like cinnamon cocoa, sea salt caramel, and brownie batter, each serving is only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar. Guilt-free and effective. Dream's all-natural ingredients help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling refreshed. It's easy to add to a nighttime routine. Just mix it with hot water or milk before bed. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Dr. Phil and use code Dr. Phil at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Dr. Phil and use code Dr. Phil for up to 40% off.
I find it cruel and inhumane for anyone to encourage illegal immigration.
If we care about immigrants, we should focus on legal immigration and helping the good people. But we must secure the border. I'm pro-immigration and pro-border security. You can be both at the same time. It blows my mind to see people encouraging people to cross illegally. Shame on you for playing politics with these people.
Well, Myra is the first female Mexican-born former member of the U.S. House of Representatives, and she says the American government needs to pay their own bills and take care of their own citizens. Now, Robert, a civil rights attorney in Atlanta, admits some people take advantage of the system, but just because a few people show up to the buffet with a plastic bag, you don't punish everybody. So, Myra, Robert, welcome. I agree with you, by the way. I am very much pro-immigration, but I'm not pro-open border.
Listen, I immigrated to this country as well, and I want every 6-year-old to have the same experience that I had whenever I came here to the United States. And what we're seeing right now is thousands and thousands of children and women that are being abused, raped, and this dangerous journey. So we should never encourage anyone to cross illegally into this country. We should focus on legal immigration. But the people of South Texas right now are very frustrated because they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're having to work 2 jobs just to barely make it. And they're seeing that our government is spending over $400 billion in housing and caring of illegal immigrants. But what about them? American citizens, they should be prioritized first and not be treated like second class. And we're not. We're first class. We're Americans.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean when you say just a few bad actors are getting everybody punished on this?
We highlight individual cases, such as the video of someone saying, well, I'm living rent-free, or someone living in an apartment, and we say that that somehow paints 20 million individuals negatively. And in reality, we have to be looking at our elected officials and our Congress and our presidents to actually do something about the immigration crisis. The last time we've had actual immigration laws passed in America was 1986 under the Reagan administration. We had McCain-Kennedy in 2005 that Republicans walked away from. We had the Schumer Compromise in 2013 that Republicans walked away from. We had the Obama Compromise in 2015 the Republicans walked away from. We had the Durbin-Rubio bill in 2018, the famous S-hole countries comment the Republicans walked away from. We had the reconciliation bill in 2021 that did not get a single Republican vote. We have the Langford bill in January of this year that could not even get a floor vote. So when we talk about doing something about it, the question is, do we actually care, or is it just a good political issue?
Well, that's a great speech, but there's been 7 million people come across the border in the last 2 or 3 years, and that's more people population-wise than 36 states in America. So don't tell me that there's just a few people that are creating the problem.
Well, no.
What the hell are you talking about? And we're not taking a few people and painting them. They're the ones getting on the internet and blowing it up. I didn't go looking for that. These are people going on TikTok and blowing up the internet with these videos that are encouraging and teaching people how to get here. And the cartels are the ones that are incentivizing these people to get here, and they're showing up with indentured servitude because they got to pay off the bills once they're here. So you can name a bunch of acts that people have tried to peddle, and you know as well as I do, they're flawed. Every one of them is flawed, whether it's Democrat or Republican. You can oversimplify that and make a speech, but that doesn't change the fact that we've got people pouring across the border and we don't know who they are or where they're going.
But what exactly do you do about it? Simply putting this on the backs of the migrants who are fleeing, I don't think that's fair to the American dream, the American prosperity. If that's going to be the case, we have to have the same policy across the globe, not just for people who don't look like us.
How about we just enforce our own immigration laws that we currently have?
Exactly.
The administration has refused to allow Border Patrol agents to enforce the current laws. And that is a fact. So you want to talk about politics? They always use this issue to get Hispanics to vote for the Democrat Party.